What's going on? Jackson here. Welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Tuesday the 29th of July. So, as always, there'll be timestamps in the description if you just want to hop to one part of this where I talk about one thing, if you just want to skip everything else because you already know it. So, if I were to choose, I go Quest, Giants, and Pure Water Springs or Alchemical plants. These ones here, this one's a bit slower and this one's a little bit less reliable, I think. I'll still go through them in a bit of detail. I'll skip doing an entire one of this just on the basis that I don't want this video releasing at fucking 10 PM at night. It's not really practical that way. So, but yeah, there's a video I will link in the description where I went into more detail with this because I had more time. Yeah, if you want to read up more about this stuff, then you can. It's just that was in Vengeance, so the Vengeance points are not really valid there. Everything else is. Okay, so I'll start with the quest. This is why I'm in Cyrodiil. With the event on, so normally you can just do writs, or you can create a new character and just go to the spot just northwest of Oridon. There'll be a NPC you can talk to here who has a quest. All you have to do to complete the quest is literally just talk to her, and yeah, that'll be it. And yeah, obviously with writs you can get surveys, you can get gold materials, all sorts of good stuff. And then obviously you can just do the main questline stuff, get some skill points that way. Those are the ways I would recommend, but with the event on right now, I would instead recommend doing the town quests, or you can do the scouting board stuff. I went into detail with the scouting board stuff a few days ago when the event came out. So today, instead, I'm just going to discuss the event quests. Sorry, the town quests instead. So I've got one here. So there are 5 towns that you can choose. There's Bruma, there is Coral, there is Vlastris down here, Cropsford, and then Cheydinhall over here. So Cheydinhall and Coral are different from the other two in that you can't travel directly here, unlike these 3 here. These are actually they're Alliance owned, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It means you can travel here quicker, but it also means these are more prone to have like enemies running around them, because these are important locations. You can spawn at them and go to take other tactical objectives. So these are they're more busy. Whereas these ones here, there's no use for these other than just doing the quests. And yes, you'll find the occasional enemy player there, but usually either they're just not there to fight, or there's just like a ganker, and in that case it's a problem. But it's very rare, especially in campaigns like this. Find one like this where there's just no, like, your faction owns everything, and that way basically no one's going to bother coming through here, because it's so annoying just getting to these locations if you don't own anything nearby, that they'll just go to a different campaign and just try that instead. Alright, so with Cyrodiil, you use these here to travel around. You don't use the normal way shrines. So you go to a shrine here, and then I'd say this is the closest to Cheydinhall. So yeah, you can use any of the towns. They're all the same. The quests there are basically just generic fetch quests that you'll find in normal zones, but it's just that this is in a place where other players can fight you. But like I said, as long as you choose a zone where you're like a campaign where your faction owns everything, basically, there's very little chance that you'll just see anyone, let alone like an enemy player. So if you want to know if there's a player around that's not in your faction, they'll have like a faction icon above their character. You can also get a add-on that adds it to your faction, but I don't understand the premise of that. I don't know why people do that. Alright, so there's 2 quest givers. There's Sylvian here, and then there is Victoria over here. It doesn't... Okay, so they're both fine. They both give you just generic quests. Some of these are much better than others, so just check what both have. In this case, yeah, see, so this one here you get sent out somewhere, so it might be best in this case for me just to check this one here instead. Just see if this is easier, because some of them are way easier than others. Yeah, so here, for example, kill 4 archers in the actual town itself. This can be a pain in the ass sometimes, because the archers can spawn as mages instead. But usually it's pretty straightforward. So you can see there's mages here. Yeah, it's a perfect example. There's fucking 3. So what we'll do is we'll just go over here instead, because usually you'll find the archers over here. Yeah, there's one there. So we'll go that one. This one here. This one. There you go. There's one. And that's it. So now we just return back to this guy. Getting that one in. And that's the quest done. So even if you die at this point, even if there is a ganker around, as soon as you've done the quest, that's it. So you can kind of get killed now and just, you know, respawn at the Wayshrine. If not, if you don't want to bother going back to a Wayshrine, you know, you just can't be fucked. What you can do instead is go to Imperial City, enter campaign, and this will take you to a safe area in Imperial City. And from there, you can just go out the door and it'll take you back to the Overland. Yeah, even in combat you can do this. So even if you've like got a player chasing you, you can just do this instead. So just look for this little tunnel here. All the safe areas in, regardless of faction, they all have the same thing. They've got this little tunnel with the exit. And yeah, so we're taking a Craglorn. This is where I was before. Alright, now we're on to the Alchemical option. So with the Alchemical one, your best option usually is just to follow like a source of water, because there is usually like tons of these water nodes and the like water side plant nodes. So those are water hyacinth and known root. Yeah, you can see the dudes coming over there. So just keep collecting these pure water nodes. These count. And the water hyacinth, you can see them from the distance. You're just looking for like a little purple flower next to the water. There's one there, a pink flower. Got 4 so far, so you can see what I mean. Usually just following like a river is amazing for this, because you just find so much stuff. So let's grab this one, and that'll be it. Now, I wanted to talk about this one first, because you can kind of do this as well while you're looking for giants. Because, yeah, usually for this one I go Ogres, and there's like a place that usually has a couple of alchemy plants around when you're looking for them. So this little bit here is amazing. This lake in Craglorn. Use home tours with Earthtier Cavern to get here super fast if you haven't got any wayshrines nearby. So it's super easy to get to, super easy to use. You can see all these little alchemy plants here all around the edge, and you can see some in the middle. So just look for the like little swirling water bits. Don't catch fish, because that's nothing to do with it. And yeah, just look for the known root, look for the water hyacinth, and yeah, you'll get this done really fucking fast. Same thing with this area here. You look at how dense all the plant nodes are. Same with this river here, like I showed you there. Over here, you've got stuff. Over here, I'm pretty sure there's also stuff at the river edge, but I just never go down there. And yeah, you can screenshot this if you want, just for alchemy stuff. The other place I would suggest is this lake here in Deshan. This has also got tons of stuff around it too, usually. And yeah, you can usually come up here too to check all this water. Though I don't know which way the river flows. Might be better to go this way instead. But yeah, you can see there's just tons of stuff all through here. Little water bodies of water everywhere. Something that will help you find the actual alchemy plants easier. In alchemy, the Keen Eye Reagents passive, this adds like a little glowing effect if you get close enough to any of the plants, and it's especially good for stuff like columbine and cornflower, and like nightshade as well is a good example. Those can be very hard to see sometimes, and mountain flower too. Mountain flower I struggle to find sometimes. They can be, you know, if you're experienced, you'll probably be able to see them in the distance because you know what they look like. But for those who aren't familiar too much with alchemy stuff, this can really help you spot things from far away, like without having to like fucking squint your eyes. Alright, giants time. So there are 3 different things that work. I think ogres are the best, but giants not too bad. Minotaurs is not a great option, I think, just because there's so few compared to giants and especially ogres. So this is kind of going to be the main place that you, like one of the easiest places to reach, Lower Yorgrim. This area's got a bunch of giants in it. There's about 10-ish. So yeah, usually you'll see a lot of people come through here and kill them. So it's not my favorite option. But yeah, you can find quite a few giants here. My preferred method for giants is to come up to, what the fuck is up with this fucking game engine there finally. So ogres, right? So this is Shinji's Scarf. This place has quite a few ogres, and they're relatively easy to reach. So yeah, these guys here count for the endeavor, so you can use these too. So there's quite a few ogres through here. Unfortunately, there's no instance options. But yeah, there's a lot of ogres. They spawn pretty quick. So yeah, you can use this option. Yeah, if you can avoid the bears, just leave them be. So this place here, if you haven't been here before, you can also get here via a home tours via Gardener House. So just come here, go out the door, just come this way, up the road here, get this way shown, and then you've got easy access to Shinji Scarp. A couple more good options for you. If you got Maelstrom Arena, if you just are lucky enough to have a character on stage 5, the Rink of Frozen Blood, there's a bunch of ogres in that round, as well as giants. So that one could be pretty good, but you just have to make sure you don't complete the whole stage and just like have it saved later, and that way you can just keep doing it whenever it comes up. That won't be as quick if you can kill all the giants or ogres here, but if these places are too busy, maybe that could be an option. There are the group event in Crimson Cove. I believe this is between 4 or 5 ogres. If it's 4, that's not worth it. If it is 5, maybe. And yeah, if you haven't been there before, if you complete that, yeah, you get a skill point. So yeah, it is worth doing. So if you want to know where the ogres are, you just look up the Crimson Cove group event. It'll show you where it is on the map. Now there are giant camps in Western Skyrim. These ones here, for example, but there's only like a few giants. Comparing this to like giants in Lower Yorgrim or the ogres in Shinji Scarp, I don't think it's worth it. In Orsinium as well, around the Mad Ogre's altar, you'll find a bunch of ogres, and the world boss himself spawns like little mini-me's, like ice mini-me's. So they can also be pretty good if you can kill a bunch of them. So fighting this guy on your own is a fucking nightmare. These bosses here, they maybe like I'm just thinking of when it came out, it was brutal, but like it's designed for a lot of people. Like these world bosses aren't like the ones in base game zones. They're fucking brutal. Oh yeah, another good place in Greenshade is the Delve Karakdina. So this delve has just tons and tons of ogres in it. This could be, yeah, this is another one I would recommend. Easiest way to get here if you haven't been here before is to use Boulder Tree Refuge in Home Tours. Yeah, Home Tours, man, it does some serious carrying. Right, so next up we've got defeating enemies with Scribed Kills. So the last hit is what matters. So say you deal 19,999 damage with your Scribed abilities, and then the last 1 HP that an enemy has is dealt with like a status effect or a class ability or a light attack, it doesn't count. So trying to avoid as much like other types of damage as possible here is good. But it's kind of hard to do, especially if you're like very new to, or like you haven't got much stuff with scribing. Like for example, if you've just got like the initial 2 that you get from the main quest line. So in that case, my next best suggestion would be to, instead of fighting like a big group of enemies, what you can do is look around for critters. With critters, they have 1 HP, so all you need is like this 1 ability to kill them. And there are a couple of places where you can find a ton of critters like in a very small location, or a very like tight-knit group. One of them is Monkey's Rest here, just northwest of Oridon. So just travel out of Oridon, takes a couple of minutes to get there. And this area here has a shit ton of monkeys, and the monkeys have 1 HP. So all you need is the initial ability that you get from completing the first quest, second area of scribing, and you can use this to just go on a fucking genocide of monkeys here. Now the issue with this strategy is that if somebody else wants to come here and do the same thing, we one of us is inconvenienced heavily. Well, both of us are really, if you start both killing at the same time. But yeah, you can get this done pretty damn quick if you do it this way. But yeah, obviously you gotta wait for stuff to respawn as well. But if you kill everything, usually it all respawns pretty quick. Yeah, it's just like a couple of minutes. But yeah, if there's a bunch of other people doing the same thing, it's going to be a pain in the ass because you're all going to be like fighting for scraps basically. But I'll go through some other options. Maybe these ones aren't as busy. But just outside of the main town in Davin's Watch, this way shine near start with, so it's very easy to get here. If you just go past the stables, you'll find a shit ton of spiders. You can also kill these for the same, with the same idea, or the same fucking, what is the word? You can do it for the same purpose. These things here will count as well for the endeavor. So there's a few bigger spiders here, and in this case you just have to hit them a couple times. That's your only real difference. Then one of the sort of, I guess, most well-known locations is going to be this area here. It's this oasis here near Divad's Chagrin mine, Wayshrine. Easy to get here using home tours, House of the Style Magnifico. You can come down here, but I think that this is the worst option, just on the basis that this is usually where everybody else goes. Well, maybe it's not a terrible option, but yeah, I don't like it as much as the Stonefalls one and the Dumbscotch one. Oh, sorry, they're both the same place. You get what I mean. So yeah, there's tons of mountain goats through here you can do the same thing with. So just kill all these guys. While you're killing them, just collect the gut that you get, because you can use those for fishing in the future if that endeavor comes up again. But we had it 2 bloody days in a row. Alright, one last option. One I actually think is pretty damn good, because it's instanced. So these areas here, there's no players that can come through and kill these. The only thing is there's not that many. There's not enough for 40, but you can get pretty close. You can just get the rest from somewhere else, maybe. So the three, the Indrik Wing, the Wing of the Netch, and the Wing of the Griffin over here, these areas have critters in them. And yeah, these critters are instants, so that they're only available to you. No one else can take your critters. So kill these ones as well, and do the same thing. And yeah, obviously, you just have to wait for them to respawn, and that's it. Now, the Guardians, they don't care. Like, if you kill their critters, they don't give a shit. Like, they still, I don't know, they still like me, so don't worry about that. Now, you can also use AoE to kill a ton of enemies, like, very quickly for this endeavor. You just have to have access to an AoE one. Probably one of the quickest to get is Sundering Burst, which you get from the main questline, completing the Wing of the Crow. There are other options though. I think the best option is Traveling Knife, but only if you have the multi-target focus script. If you don't have this, I don't think it's worth using. Yeah, multi-target makes this thing fucking great. The main reason I like it is because it's instant cast. Elemental Explosion's good, but the 2-second cast time really annoys me. Like, if you get staggered by anything while you're trying to cast it, you just have to wait like a few seconds to cast it again, and that can be really annoying. Ulfsilds is pretty good. I like Trample as well. And obviously Banner Bearer, if you want to use that to increase your damage, that's also fun. But yeah, those are... Smash is okay as well, but yeah, anything with a cast I'm not a big fan of. So yeah, Soul Burst, Ulfsilds, Trample, Traveling Knife, that's kind of my combination if I can choose one. But you can just kind of use Soul Burst in Wayresource 1, or in like a really weak group of enemies in like a public dungeon. For example, Crow's Wood, the initial, like the first area, there's just a ton of wolves that are super duper weak, super easy to kill. And you can just use something like that and just literally like probably cast your skill twice and kill everything. The only thing is this is a non-instance area, so other players can come through and kill all the wolves and you'll just be waiting for them to respawn. Whereas this area here, Wayresource 1, this is instance, so this is only available to like, these can only be killed by you. So what I'd like to do in this room is there's 21 skeevers in total, so I'll just go through and aggro all the skeevers at once. And then kill them all in like a small clump. The only issue is sometimes one of the skeevers won't follow you, or a few. In this example, you can see the ones over here. So what we do now is heal. Just make sure you're always healing yourself, because you know, it's 20 skeevers, but they still do a lot of damage in a group of 20. Yeah, you can see there. Just keep spamming your AoE skill, and you can get it done pretty quick. Now that's only 20. You can do two things here if you want to do this. So either you can just leave, wait 5 minutes and come back, maybe do the other endeavors first, and then come back in here, and by that point this is probably reset. Or you can come through here and just kill the rest of the enemies. It's just that they're going to be a little bit more tanky and harder to kill. But yeah, there's 40 in this in these first few rooms. You won't have to fight any bosses to get access to these. So if you just want to use your scribing abilities, you can see it takes a little while to kill them, but you'll kill them eventually. You just have to keep healing yourself, keep damaging them. So yeah, you can use other things, but it's just that if, for example, like if I start using, like with this group, if I use like ultimate, to like deal tons of damage quickly, and then use other skills, it won't count for the Endeavor. Like, none of these skills will matter for doing the Endeavor. So obviously you want to use like things like Soul Burst more if possible. Alright, so just a quick rundown of how to take a keep. Firstly, you're going to need some siege. That or someone else is going to need some siege. But if you can, help with this shit. Because the more siege your team has, the quicker you can take these things. So packed ballistas, or just like ballistas, are good. Trebuchets, stone trebuchets are good too. These have longer range than ballistas do. And battering rams. Battering rams can get through the front doors quicker than anything else. But if the enemies are like defending and they have oils, battering rams are going to have a hard time. Because oils will fuck you up very quick. So the objective is to break through the outer sort of shell. Every keep has an outer wall and then like an inner courtyard, like fort. Or like, I don't know what they call these, like the main building. So you have to get through either via the walls on the sides or the door. Now the door is quicker, but the door's easier to defend. The walls it's more challenging because there's less like areas where they can protect it. But you can't use a battering ram on a wall, so it's slower. So whichever way, you get into the courtyard, kill all the NPCs and kill any players if you see them down in the court, in the lower sections. And then you either come to this door and use your battering ram on it and pierce through here, or you can go through the postern walls on the sides here. So there's 2 on each side. And outposts are the same, except without the outside walls. There'll be the 2 postern walls on the sides that you can breach. So whichever way you make your way through, you need to take a keep, you need to take these 2 flags here. So you've got this flag, and then you've got this flag. So kill the enemies on top of them, and then sit on top, like, just stand around the flag. Don't go crouch, because that doesn't work. Just stand and just sit on the flag. And eventually it'll convert from the enemy section to yours. It takes a few minutes, especially if you're on your own, it takes a while. If you have a bunch of players to help you, you'll take them quicker, and it just makes it quicker, just in general. So it is, as I was saying at the start, it is possible to fail this one, and it's a pretty big thing. Because if you die, you have to respawn back at your keep, and getting back to the keep, it just wastes time. Whereas the other ones is kind of a lot harder to, like, for that failure to be as consequential. So yeah, I just avoid this one when I can, just because the other options are easier, more reliable, less reliant on other players, both for and against. Yeah, so yeah, I never really bother with this one, but yeah, it's if you can get a group of players, especially if Cyrodiil is really busy in one of the campaigns, usually Alliance Locked and Standard are the ones that get busy quickest. And especially if, like, there's certain times where one side will just start taking the whole map, and in those situations, it's pretty easy, because there's usually, like, not many defenders. Like, for example, this one, like, Evanhart has everything, and they're just slowly taking all the rest of the farms, like the rest of the resources. But, like, say we're up to here, and there's just, like, we're the only faction that has, like, any presence, you can just start helping them take the keeps, and that's also pretty easy. Alright, if you've got any questions, as always, just give me a holler. But this, I don't think this set's too bad, so, yeah, go for it. So thanks everyone for watching, thanks to us as always. I know these videos, like, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are going to be slower, like, later to come out. There's nothing I can do about that. It's just, I finished TAFE really late. You know how it is. So see you all next time. Have a good night, or have a good day, whatever. So, yeah, take care.